Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? It's your girl, the Cyn Show, and it's just another day. I hope you guys are doing well. Um, this is, I'm going to call another episode of All Tea, No Shade. But instead of having a cup of tea, we're going to have a glass of Prosecco because it calls for. And this video is really going to be about being spared and being used. Yesterday, I had posted a video about my shopping. Let's go shopping at Winners. You guys had, you know, watched me go pick out some stuff, try some outfits, and come back home with what I was going to with what I purchased. I had left a few pieces back there that I wasn't too sure at the time of, which is such a gag because as I was editing the video, walking on my way up here, I had seen how much I loved that outfit. And I had said to myself, girl, you better go back and get those pieces. So I got myself together and I proceeded to head out the door. And as I did, I had bumped into an old friend of mine whom now when I see that person is no longer really there on the streets, not really well in the mind. And the funny thing is, I had my glasses on as I was stepping out the door. But when I recognized her. And I feel like, in fact, I know she recognized me. And it had been many years. And this was a person who I had befriended. And actually, I probably should say I had known since junior high. And we befriended each other in our 20s. And, in our 20s, we were, child, that was a time, okay? I was at the club, honey. And the gag was, so was she, and she was the hostess at there's a big club in the city back in the day. I think it was called Circus. Child, what a time. And the funny thing too is that we had also bonded a lot on trauma, which is why trauma is such a big deal for me now, for me to teach and talk about and to be a steward of healing towards with everything that we have gone through in our lives. We also tend to forget those that we pick up along the way who are helping to enable or benefit, or they're feeding, they're feeding off the trauma. When we were in our 20s, there was a time when I had brought my friend over to my mom's place, our house at that time. And we were smokers and that is smoking weed. And my mom was never a fan of that person. And in fact, there was a time where my mom had, I guess kind of like because she was really pissed off with this girl's and she didn't like her energy, she kind of scurried her out of there. And she got really pissed because she had brought weed into the house and my mom was just not, here for the ganja, is what she would go. She would like she would constantly be screaming, she's taking my baby's brain from me. Well, one day, I guess my mom didn't realize because she was making some soup and for so, some soup for some fufu, and she put in the little spices in there. And I guess lo and behold, I mean, she didn't recognize that there was, she kind of sprinkled in some of the stuff that this person had left, and she was screaming from the top of the lungs. She was upset, y'all, like upset. I guess that was also part of the end of the relationship. But one thing I remember was that this person lived with mental illness in their home. And I was also a witness to seeing that. I was a witness to seeing what it was like to have a schizophrenic mother and to have to be the one to take care of her, knowing that you also need to be taken care of. And schizophrenia is also something that runs through the family. We can try our hardest, but anything can happen, and it is then time. Um, and I was having a conversation with my sister, and she was like, I think, you know, you must have been that safe haven for her at that time because I had come back from the past, from junior high. We're grown, we're in our adult years, we're experimenting, we're doing whatever 20-year-olds are doing. We were doing it too. Oh, God. And, but we were, again, bonding through trauma and enabling each other and doing things that were destroying our bodies, and destroying our minds, and destroying our spirits. Well, time passed. So did we. And I went on my journey and she went on her journey. Remember when I said October 8th? I had been sitting there consuming all this content until the 9th when I decided to repost, or not repost, I should say, just relaunch the channel and just start going hard. I understood that I was on such momentum. I understood that the night prior, I had put out that video at 2 o'clock in the morning where I was referencing and giving my thanks to Dodash and giving my thanks to Dash of Faith and giving my thanks to all these other YouTubers and all the new YouTubers that are coming out, and just seeing the energy, the frequency that we're riding on, of us knowing this is our time. This is our time. I was I realized at that moment that when I had seen her as I stepped out of my home coming around the corner, that if I had stopped, she would have stopped my momentum. She would have stopped what I had been going hard on. She would have stopped my realization of who I am and what I'm meant to do right now. And I think what I know is I think she probably would have stopped that part of me where I was like, I'm healing and I'm healed. When we go through so much trauma, sexual trauma, physical trauma, emotional, mental, financial trauma, the way how that shit will chip at the bitch, the way that thing will chip at you, honey. But boy, you better stay so strong, and you got to pay attention to those around you and your life. And you got to pay attention to how much God spares you. Swear to God, I heard him say, do you see how I've spared you? How many times has that happened to you? I was, this was my friend that I have photos, and I was going to actually like go and look at those photos, and I realized I couldn't. It was like I had buried my friend that day, yesterday, when I saw them in that state. I knew it's like right there, this funeral. And it's funny because, when we don't see the people that used to be in our lives anymore, sometimes, I mean, I was thinking for the best. I wanted that person to be married. I thought they're going to have kids, but we don't know what's going to happen. We have no clue. But what we do know is we have to keep it pushing, especially when you're on that high, when you're on that frequency, when you're being obedient, when you are paying attention to your life, when you are understanding Okay, this is what you want me to do right now. Gotcha. I'm a bit tired today because I did a lot of crying yesterday because of so many realizations that I had. I had a lot of realizations, but I had so much gratitude. I had to do a really long prayer, not just for myself, but for her. And I don't know if she's ever going to see this video, but I wish you well. And just know that I do see you. Not just I do see you, but I also still see you. And I'm glad that you're alive. Feel me? Like there are going to be a lot of people in your life that you're going to realize you can't take anyway. You can't take them. You can't take them in that state. You can't take them in this state. Sometimes it's hard when you can't really be there for them like that. And then you have no choice. You have no choice. You have to choose yourself. You have to keep moving, even when it really hurts. You have to keep moving. So I'll probably do another video about something else, but I really, really wanted to put that out there that for anyone who's going through this kind of mental illness, or if you are dealing with anybody who's going through it, I encourage you to really be strong, especially for yourself, because I know the stress is sending you down to cortisol country club, honey. All right, they giving you first class seats, but you got to be strong. And for those of you who have never had this happen, take care of your mental health. Go outside. Step away from the computer for a hot minute. If you need to take the rest, take the rest. If you need to, get away from people, then get away from people and be unapologetic because your peace is everything. And especially at this time. So, as my mom says, that's my story. And I think this is also one of the reasons why I feel the need to um, keep posting, keep posting these videos because my life is like a total Truman Show, straight up. And I think so is yours. And you'd really be surprised. You'd be surprised how similar we are living and what we're doing and how we're growing and how we're getting better and better and better. And I think also how we're showing up. So this is my showing up today. I don't know when I'll post this video, but I will post this video sometime this week. And I encourage all of you guys who are out here who are new subs. I really thank you so much for joining me and being a part of this channel and for basically vibing with me. My GU or my tribe. We vibe. You tribe. Okay. um, and I want you to all know that no matter what, because you are in that place of protecting your energy and protecting your peace, remember and say to yourself, I am not, or no, 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 I should say, I am meant to be the example, not the bridge. Peace, y'all.